Hello and welcome to another episode of my Productivity Mastery series. My name is Pullein and this week I want to talk to you about motivation and indeed inspiration. Now these two factors, motivation and inspiration, are actually not very good at being able to help you to achieve projects, complete projects, and achieve your goals. Now the reason for that is they are actually quite short term. We often get a lot of motivation. It's a little bit like when you've had a Thanksgiving dinner or you've had a large Christmas dinner and you're sat on the sofa afterwards going, oh, I'm never going to eat again. Tomorrow I'm going to start getting fit. And the next day you wake up in the morning and you go, I can't be bothered to go for a run. You know, the motivation is fleeting. It doesn't last very long. Now, equally what I find is when people start developing a project and they're highly motivated to developing the project and they rush to get the load of lists of tasks that they want to do, they create the project folder in their to-do list manager and they put all the tasks down there and they have 20, 30 tasks and they're, right, I'm going to start this next week, I'm going to start with this, I'm going to start with that. And what they end up doing is like 80% of the tasks in there are actually not very essential, but they will spend all their time in those 80% of tasks that are not moving the project forward. Really, it's that 80-20 rule, the Pareto rule, which sort of says 80% of your effort comes from 20% of your tasks. Well, this is actually true. If you have 10 tasks, like for example, let me give you an easy example. Imagine that you decided that you're going to write a book and that you decide that research is important, interviewing people is going to be important, having discussions and meetings with your editor to discuss the direction of the book, outlining the book. You know, there's like 4 tasks there already. But none of those tasks will actually get the book written. There is only one task that will actually get the book written, and that is sitting down, opening up your computer and start writing. It's the only way the book will ever happen. Now, of course, the planning, the research, the meetings with your editor and the outlining, they are important in their own way, but then none of those things will ever get a book written. If you do no research, if you do no meetings with your editor, if you do no outlining, and just write, you would still have a book. Now there's a lot of work that would need doing to the book afterwards to probably get it into a publishable format, but at least you'd have the 60,000 to 100,000 words, so you have a book. But the research, the development, all those things, none of that is actually going to result in a book. It's just an idea. And this is really why motivation can actually be kind of a false motivator, if you like, to actually drive you forward. What you need to be able to do is identify those 1 or 2 tasks that actually, if you do consistently over a period of time, will result in a finished product or a finished item in which you can actually say, well, this project now is almost complete. I just need to do this and post it and it's done. It's a little bit the same way. I come across a lot of people who ask me questions about starting a podcast or starting a blog or even starting a YouTube channel. It's great. They have these wonderful ideas and I'm 100% behind you. I think you all should be writing blogs or doing a podcast or doing a YouTube channel because you've all got something to teach us. But the vast majority of people get stuck in the planning and in the outlining and the thinking of ideas and never actually write a blog post, never actually record a podcast, never actually record a video. Now, unless you have a video, a written blog post, or a recorded podcast, you have nothing. Now, all the other things are important, but they are not essential in order to get. You could just go buy yourself a microphone, plug it into your computer, and without any planning or preparation, just talking to the microphone, record it, you've got a podcast. You can refine it afterwards, and I've discovered in my own way that actually what happens is you start to drift towards your niche only when you start actually doing the actionable work. And this is one of the reasons why I feel it's so important to get this message across. Whenever you're developing a project, okay, it's kind of important to have the steps written out, to have some understanding about how you're going to move the project forward. That is important, but it's not essential. What is essential is those identified core tasks. I call them core tasks that will actually drive the project through to completion. You're writing a report, well, actually opening up Microsoft Word or Google Docs and writing the report. That's what will actually result in a finished report, not collecting the data. Sure, the data is important, but you need to identify the fact that the data is just a tiny part, whereas the bigger part of the project is actually writing the report. You can have all the data in the world collected into a folder somewhere, but you have no report. You write something without the data, at least you've got most of the report done. You can add in the data later. It's slightly less important. So really understanding what those tasks are that are really going to drive your projects forward. That's where the motivation comes from, because the motivation is self-recycling. If you're moving forward, if you're making momentum, you are going to keep yourself naturally inspired and naturally motivated. It's when you focus on things that are just leaving the big elephant in the room, if you like, untouched. That's when your motivation will just wane. It's a little bit like going out and getting really excited and buying all the running gear that you need, you know, the fantastic t-shirt and the amazing running shoes, the running socks and the shorts, and say, wow, the weather's fantastic, everything is fantastic. And you wake up in the morning and you just go, oh, I'm just don't feel like going out running. Motivation just disappears. But you go out there for a day and do a 1 mile run or a 1 kilometer run or jog, and do it again tomorrow and do it again tomorrow, and then ask how you feel after 5 days. You're going to find it increasingly difficult to stop running because you don't want to break the momentum. That momentum is self-fulfilling. It keeps you inspired and it keeps you motivated. You know, the peripheral things like the running shoes, and I mean, of course, you need some running shoes to go running, but once you've got them, the most important thing is get out there and do the running. Theoretically, you could just run any old pair of trainers and you can go out running. You know, the most important thing, if you want to start running, you go running. It's not about buying the kit. That's just icing on the cake, if you like. So really, the message in this video this week is for you to forget about the motivation. The motivation will inspire you to write out and plan out the project. What's most important is then identifying the key tasks that are going to drive you towards completion, and put all your energy and focus in there, because that is what will recycle the motivation and the inspiration to keep you going forward. It's when you lose sight of that and you get caught up in the research and the planning and the reorganizing your to-do list manager, because of course that has to be done before you can start the project. You know, these things are not important. This is really a key point. If you want to keep driving yourself forward and to complete those projects, then make sure you've identified those core things. You know, you want to start running, you go out running. You want to write a book, you start writing the book. Worry about the planning and research later. That can come as you're writing the book, because that self-fulfilling motivation will keep you going forward. If you spend all your time on the non-essentials, I'm afraid your motivation will just disappear and the project will never come to completion. Well, thank you very much for watching this episode. It just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week, and please guys, stay safe out there. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. Now, I have a question for you. Are you ready to go beyond the to-do list? Now, I asked that question because building a to-do list, building an organization system is really the first step to mastering the art of productivity. If you really want to take yourself to the next level and you really want to automate the whole process, then you need to start using workflows. You need to start building workflows, because it's the work that you do consistently over a period of time that completes projects, achieves goals, and takes you to accomplish the things that you really want to accomplish in your life. And that's why I developed my Productivity Masterclass series, building your very own custom workflows. Now, this is a course that is kind of on the advanced level. It's designed to get you to go beyond the to-do list, which many of us have spent many hours building, and it's designed to take you to the very next level so that your whole system is automated, so you can make decisions really quickly about what it is you want to do today, this week, this month, and this year, and build it into your daily workflows that takes you towards accomplish them. Now, I would love to see you in this course. The details of my Productivity Masterclass course building your very own custom workflows are in the show notes below. I would love to see you in the course. I'm sure you will not be disappointed. It'd be great for you to join us. Thank you very much for watching this. It just remains for me now to wish you again a very, very productive week.